when do we draw the line and identify and say, yes, it's time that we bring in the professional healthcare, despite trying to go through the family setup and going through religion? When do we draw that line? How do we identify? And with you dealing with communities, with the farmers themselves, and if they don't get the yield, if they don't get the profits, if it doesn't rain with climate change now, usually the mental state, the way you mentioned in your introduction, becomes a key issue. So from your end, when do we identify that this needs a professional healthcare and not an overnight prayer time in the church?
All right. Thank you so much. That's a very interesting question. I think there's a lot of things that happens in people's mind and people's thoughts, especially where mental health is concerned. So there is a point where people would draw their lines depending on the circumstance at which it is at. So I think the quickest thing that individuals or people, especially in our Africa setup, we draw much or we trust much in our communities and our families where we come from. That's where our first solution goes in there. We'll just narrow it down. I don't know if I would divert a bit in answering this. I think the many problem comes in, or not problem, I'll say the issue is on how that a family or community, they have been raised up. So you talk about their thought process or what their mind has been programmed. So for example, like my colleague was saying, the speaker who was here said something that is very cardinal. If a family was brought up in where, I'll take an example for myself. If I have got a problem, the moment what clicks into my mind is, oh, I need to pray about this problem for me to receive a solution. And that problem is like, I'm looking for a higher source, which is a spiritual source, for me, for this physical problem to be sorted out. So in that process, if I continue praying about it, then the answer is being delayed, then I'll start now consulting. Oh, I'm having this problem, how should I go about? By the time I'm making a decision to say, oh no, this problem, actually it is not about the spiritual thing, or it's not about this, it's about me going to the hospital. And I'll take it back like you earlier indicated, especially in the setup of farmers, you'll find that their also spirituality is different from those that are professionals. Their approach is where they'll go and look for, those that they are witch doctors, as others they call it traditional healers, others call them spiritual, depending on where you are coming from. They would go and consult from there. So it's all about the programming. How is their programming in their thoughts? What is really being taught to them as they were growing up for them to make decisions? You'll find that even professionals, people, for example, you were talking about, doctors. There are doctors who commit suicide. You find that there are doctors who are even smoking, drinking. They even know that what they are doing is really bad. But you find that there are things that are beyond what they are going through. So because of that, that's what causes people now to start delaying in making decision in where would this solution come from me to a professional. Do I need to go to the hospital for it to be handled? Do I need to go to church for them to pray over it? Or do I need just to pray alone for this solution to go over?